If you are sending products to WFS or the Walmart Fulfillment Services, you need to make sure you're prepping your items correctly and you're polybagging and labeling the correct items, because you wouldn't want your shipment to be delayed, rejected, or Walmart charging you extra for items such as a poly bag, which can be up to 45 cents per bag, which definitely adds up. Hey guys, I'm Amanda, and if you're new here, I love talking all things Walmart. I love helping Amazon sellers get started with the Walmart platform. And here today, I'm going to show you how to prep your items, which is very similar to Amazon FBA. The thing is Walmart doesn't have a lot of rules like Amazon does when it comes to prepping your items. So if you prep your items for FBA, chances are if you follow the same rules for Walmart WFS, you'll be safe and good to go. If not, if you've never done a shipment, I'm here to tell you how to prep your items when it comes to sending them to the Walmart warehouse. Let's go over the things that you need when it comes to prepping your items. First is a Scotty peeler. Now, I've used the plastic ones, which are horrible. I would not recommend them. I recommend this one where it is a blade. It's more metal. This one will help get your stickers off better. When it comes to prepping your items for Walmart, you want to make sure all of your stickers are removed, such as any clearance item stickers, or the big yellow ones from Walmart, or any Ross stickers, any kind of sticker that's on the product. You want to make sure you remove it. You do need a heat gun. This is the one that I use. I absolutely love it. It just helps the process of peeling off those stickers a lot easier, especially with a metal Scotty peeler. You'll also want some Goo Gone. I love this one with a spray bottle. I've used the ones where it's just a cap, and that gets kind of inconvenient. The spray bottle is definitely the way to go. This can help you remove that extra stickiness that's get left behind. For example, if you're selling shoes and looks like it's been tried on and worn, you can use that Goo Gone and kind of clean them up a little bit and make them look brand new, which they still are. But the Goo Gone really helps with the stickiness and any extra residue that may have gotten damaged when they were in the store. Next is bubble wrap. I use bubble wrap more often when I'm doing seller fulfilled than I do for WFS. And when I'm doing WFS, I tend to like the bigger bubbles versus the smaller bubbles. So it just depends on what you want to use it for. I don't use it a whole lot when it comes to my WFS shipments. So instead of using the bubble wrap, I really like using the construction paper. This is the brown paper that I prefer because it lasts me a long time. You can crinkle it up and it kind of expands a little bit, so you get more bang for your buck when you're trying to make sure your items are snuggled in there pretty tightly. You want to be able to shake your box and not move. So that construction paper really helps me, and you can sometimes get pretty good deals. You can buy 2 rolls, for the price of 1. So just watch out for those coupons. But for the most part, that's what I use. Also, in addition with the bubble wrap, I like using the pillows. These ones are the ones I've used before. They're really good for getting those tight areas to make sure that they don't get any wiggle room. It's also good for having an item where there's just a little bit of space, but a bubble wrap is too big. So I do recommend the bubble pillows. So those are a good choice. Also, I use plastic bags. When I was back in my hometown, they gave us a ton of plastic bags, but now I live in Seattle. They charge us 12 cents per bag. So I don't use them anymore because I don't want to throw away that money. I just use them for my old household stuff. But you can also use those plastic bags or those brown bags you get from the grocery store. Those are also great fillers, but you cannot use newspaper because of the ink. It'll bleed off and they don't want that. So I love doing that. Pro tip is if you get a lot of Amazon stuff anyways, I just reuse all that filling. I got a big bag in the closet that has all my filling from previous packages. So that is also a way to save money. It's just a recycle. So next are clear stickers. These round stickers I use quite often when I'm trying to close something that kind of came open, but it's still brand new. I like to put that over the top to make sure it stays sealed. And sometimes if I'm selling lotion, which unfortunately we can't sell anymore on Walmart, but we're able to that on top and make it kind of look like it's still new. The clear stickers also helps with any damage. Like if there's just a seal that kind of came off a little bit, you can just put that sticker on to make sure it stays sealed. I don't have those on hand, which means I don't use them hardly at all. So that's a thing nice to have, but you don't have to have it. Next are poly bags. You want an array of different sizes so you know which one you want to use. I like using the poly bags with the white seal. The white seal is so important because if it's a clear seal, it sticks to you. It just clings to everything. And the white ones are a little bit more expensive, but it will save your sanity. If you know with those clear tabs, it's just the amount of stress that clings to you. I highly recommend getting these ones because the white and the variety of sizes. And that way when you run out of a size, you can just reorder that exact size and not the custom again. So next are boxes. What size boxes are good to use? And this is all for WFS. I'm not going to go over seller fulfilled boxes. So for WFS, I like using these 2 sizes, 22, 16, 16. That's my favorite box. It does get a little heavy, but the 22, 16, 16 is also a good size. I prefer that one because it's more manageable to lift versus the 26, 16. It can fit more, but it does take it pretty quickly to reach that 50 pounds, and you don't want to go over that 50 pounds. Next are shoe boxes. I'm just going to briefly talk about this because if you sell shoes, you definitely need shoe boxes. boxes. If you don't sell shoes, which I don't, then I don't buy any. So I looked at these ones. These ones look pretty good. Other sellers seem to like them. So that is what is a good buy if you're going to be selling like adult size sneakers, shoes, or anything like that. So what do we polybag and what doesn't need a polybag? If you want to be completely safe, you could polybag everything. But if I'm being honest, I don't polybag everything. First, I don't polybag Lego sets. And that's because it's in its own box. It has a UPC right on it, and polybagging it just seems to be a little extra, and I don't need to do that. I don't polybag those, but these are the things that I make sure I polybag every single time. First is any type of lotion, serum, liquid. This is make sure that it doesn't spill or break, and if it does, it's only concealed inside that poly bag. Unfortunately, we can't sell those types of things on Walmart anymore, but if you are selling something that is a liquid, I highly recommend you polybagging it just to make sure it stays safe and it does break, it's contained. Next are clothing. I polybag everything when it comes to clothing, such as this kid's shirt, or from adult size shorts, shirts, bathing suits, anything that you wear, anything clothing, I polybag. And then I make sure to put the sticker on the outside, the FNSKU label, or the G10 label, just to make sure that that gets captured when it's checking in. Next is anything that you can actually touch the product, or that is kind of soft, like anything like a Squishmallow like this. I would polybag every single one of these. They get dirty and gross in the warehouse, and your customers do not want that. So anytime they can actually touch the product, textiles, anything like that, I polybag. The next is anything that a baby would use, I also polybag, especially if it's like a teething or anything that they will put in their mouth. I always polybag it just to be safe. There's a lot of things we aren't able to sell with baby, but there are a few, and I make sure to polybag them. However, if they're like the bottles, I don't polybag that because they're in their own box. They may need a clear sticker over top to ensure that they stay closed, but other than that, I don't polybag. Next are anything glass. If possible, if you're selling like a Yankee Candle, you'll need to make sure that it comes in its own box. And if it doesn't, I would order a box specifically for that, bubble wrap it inside, close it, put that sticker on, the G10 label sticker on. That way it stays intact, doesn't get broken, because you have to remember that it's going from you to the Walmart warehouse, then to the customer. So there's so many stops along the way for that to get broken. So if you could do your due diligence to ensure that doesn't get broken, that's what I would do. So that's what I've always done, and I've seemed to have good luck. Hey, would you like a free roadmap that tells you how to get started, what to look for when sourcing, and how to create a shipment all the way to getting paid and making this Walmart a full-time business? So please check out my freebie down below, and back to the video. Next is, what do we put stickers on? Do we need to cover the barcodes for everything? And I just did a shipment today, and I only had to put a sticker on 2 items. This was perfect because what I typically do is I take the Walmart app and I scan the barcode. And if it comes up with the barcode on the Walmart app, then I don't need a sticker. And then if I scan it with my scanner into the catalog, then it'll go straight to the listing I want it to go on. So if the UPC matches what you have and the listing, you do not need an FNSKU label, which is amazing because I had over 100 items and I only had to label about 10. Now, if you do polybag an item and it gets messed up and you can't really read the UPC, I definitely put an extra sticker on there just in case. When it comes to doing your shipment itself, I highly recommend you making it as simple as the person receiving it as possible. Now, their job quota, from what I understand, is items checked in per hour. So if they open your box and it is just an array of things, it's disorganized, they're going to move on because they have a quota they have to meet. So I highly recommend that you making it so simple, so neat, kind of like Tetris, where you're making things very snug and making sure all the UPC labels are facing the same way, in the same direction. And that way they can just go boom, boom, boom and get it really quick, easy, and efficient. Because if you just throw everything in there and it's all combobulated, which may happen through shipping, but making sure you put the stuffing in there to make sure it all stays there. That's a really important tip, is making sure it looks nice, neat, and efficient for the person receiving it, because they can easily move your stuff aside and go on to the next one. That looks a lot easier. And what happens is that box that they put aside goes to the next person checking in or clocking in, and then they decide they don't want to deal with it either. And so it just gets moved and moved and moved, which you don't want that to happen to your stuff. So that's a pro tip, and that's what I would highly recommend. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. Prepping your items for Walmart WFS is so much simpler than Amazon FBA. You don't have to sticker everything. You may have to polybag the same things, but you're at least saving time and money without doing the labeling. And personally, I am 90% WFS. I will do more seller fulfilled during Q4, during the holiday season, but right now it is March and I do 100% WFS. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one, and let's connect.